Hi, everybody. I'm going to just review with you how to do the multi-line graph so we can plot the data from our light and surface area lab report. So I'm going to borrow somebody's lab right here, all the data that they collected. And down here is the two trials we did. And if you recall, we recorded the distance that the flashlight was from the paper in units of tens, and then calculated the surface area of the circle, of the cone of light that was created. I'll go back and review, obviously, what we should be putting for significant figures because this isn't correct, but we'll just record this data for now for our graph. So you need to open up a Google Sheet from your Google Drive. So you just go to Google Drive, hit New, and find Google Sheets. I already opened one up. And I just gave it the name of our lab, light and surface area. And if you go back and you look at your data tables, remember, we don't need to plot everything. We just need the distance and how it affected the area. So this would be the X, the independent variable, and the dependent variable, or the Y-axis. So put that data in. The units should only go up here at the top. If you put them in here with the numbers, then it's going to mess up the calculations. It doesn't work. And because I have two trials, I'm just going to label this trial 1 and trial 2. And that's what the lines in the double line graph will be labeled in the key of the legend. And then the data, if you don't feel like typing it all in, you can highlight and copy. And it's a little tricky, but I'm going to highlight these cells here. Now paste, I'm going to paste special because I don't want to paste any formatting or anything, just the values. And notice it skipped a space, and I can't figure out how not to do that. So I'm just going to go back to that cell and delete the cell, shift them up. Okay, so you can rewatch that if you want. Now get your data from trial 2, highlight all that, copy it, go back to your spreadsheet. Let's see if this works here. Paste special, paste values only. Then you need to get rid of that cell, shift up under delete cells. Okay. So all the data is there that we need. Now we need to highlight what it is we want to graph and go to this little signal, this little picture over here which says insert chart. And go to chart types. Okay, we're talking about a change over, a gradual change over time. We want to plot that. It should be a line graph. Make sure only these bottom two boxes are checked. And I don't want to make it connect the dots. I kind of want to look for a nice correlation. I want to make a smooth line chart. See the closest lines, the line of best fit, I guess, is what we would do here. And if you look at that, it looks pretty good. I've got trial 1 and trial 2. The data is pretty similar. The distance in the x-axis is already labeled, but we don't have a really good title and we don't have a label over here, which is fine. So now we go to customization. And the first thing that shows up is what you can change the title to. So I would just do this light and or distance and surface area of light, maybe is a good one. Then the legend, it just says where we want to put this and if that's what we want it to be called, which is fine with me. I like it over on the right. You could put it anywhere else. Inside gets a little busy to me, so I'm going to leave it over to the right, but you can do whatever looks better. And then scroll down. And again, the axis, the horizontal is already labeled. So it says it right here. It's the distance in centimeters. The unit is there. That's extremely important. You can change the color and the font and get all fancy if you want, but remember you have to print this. So if you have too many colors and black backgrounds and things like that, you're just wasting ink. So keep that in mind. Then we need to change this to the vertical axis because now I need to label that. And that one was our surface area of the light. And I cannot figure out how to do a superscript on this, so we're just going to write centimeters squared instead of writing the CM with the superscript 2. I don't know how to get that in there. Let me know if you guys can figure it out. So that should be in there. Once you click on the graph, it'll show up. Looks good. Good title. That's good. That's good. Now check your intervals. We did start at 10. We didn't start at 0. So kind of makes sense because we don't have any data between 0 and 10. So here's a good chart. And this always wants your y-axis, you should always start at 0 on a line graph. So that looks good. And you want to go a little bit beyond your highest measurement. You can see here if you click the points. So go up to 600 looks good. They did that well automatically. But if you ever wanted to adjust that, you could type the minimum and the maximum of the y-axis here. You could also change if you want grid lines, if you want more of these lines in between. That's all that does. Doesn't really matter, but it's better for estimating if you want to look at it. And then basically you can hit insert if it looks the way you want. Drag it over here so it's kind of out of your way. And if the graph looks good, you click this little down arrow and copy the chart. Go back to your lab report where it says graph. Oh, look, Michelle already did hers. Look, and hers looks a little different. Good. She was creative in how she did the centimeters squared. She's got a title. She's got all her data. We have a connecting the dots instead of a curved line, which I didn't really talk to anybody about, so that's okay for now. It's our practice lab. But that looks pretty good. So basically, you guys can just paste your graph right there. And that's all you need to know.